Hi everybody, Delusion Dispeller back to do probably part 2, maybe part 2, and then I'll do another part 3, another part of it. We'll see how long it goes and how it all works out. So, this is Chris Watts' mother, Cindy Watts, who, as you probably could tell from part 1, I'm not too fond of. And I think she's lying, and I think she's deceptive, and I think she's rude, and yeah, I don't like her. Alright, here we go. Hi, Meecha.
And I finally thought, he's finally seen the light.
And I take it Chris had never been in trouble with the law?
Never. He's got one speeding ticket and didn't even know about that.
Okay, explain to me something. He's got one speeding ticket, and she says, and didn't even know about that. They didn't know about that, or Chris didn't know about that? Explain that to me. Did she pay his speeding ticket and not tell him he got one, or what? Does anybody have any info on that? Let me know, because that was really interesting.
Tell me what happened when they were reported missing. What did you find out? How did you find out? Who told you?
I think Ronnie called me. Ronnie called me and said that they're missing, and I thought, I don't believe it. I didn't believe they were missing. I believe that she was going to punish Chris.
Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't catch this the first time I watched the interview. When he asks, how'd you find out if they were missing, her eyes shifted back and forth. Did you notice that? I noticed it. Rewind it and go watch it again. I'm not going to rewind it, but go back and watch her eyes shift from side to side. That she... Yeah, she's just shifty. She's shifty, okay? Alright, shifty's not a good thing, by the way. It means you're deceptive. She's still got that stupid grin on her face, too, even as I freeze frame this. Sorry for the shaking. Mimi was on my arm here, my cat. Alright, so she believes Shanann was going to punish Chris. Let's hear more about that.
She was just going to punish him, take the girls, and just punish him. I had no idea of anything else. Chris.
Okay, what does she mean? She was going to take the girls and just punish him. In what way? At this point, none of us supposedly know that there was anything bad happening, as far as problems in the marriage or whatever. As far as I remember, we didn't find that out till after all of this garbage went on. But I could be wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. But she's like, I thought Shanann was just going to take the girls and punish Chris. How?
Christopher called and said, Mom, they're searching the house. I said, okay, that's fine. I mean, and I still was not worried. I was not worried. I just thought Shanann had run off with girls.
So walk me through the sequence of events over the next few days.
Yes, please do.
Did you and your husband travel to Colorado?
Ronnie did.
Okay.
Ronnie did. And, I mean, Christopher let everybody come in. Her phone is there. Her purse is there.
Okay, some people are going to flame me for this, and I really don't care. Go ahead. The fact that she's still calling him Christopher when he's like a 30-something-year-old man, that is very rare, at least in my experience, for someone to refer to their grown adult offspring as Christopher. The reason I say this is because my own narcissist, who interestingly enough had a name very similar to that, which I won't explain all that, but went by a little kid type name too. That's usually a good sign that somebody's being raised by a narcissist, because one of the things narcissistic parents hate is for their children to grow up. Number one, they want to mold the child into what they want them to be. So therefore, if they're growing up being anything other than what they want, they're going to try to keep them infantilized as long as possible. Christopher, little Mr. Innocent Christopher, who wouldn't hurt anything and didn't ever get in trouble with the law, blah, blah, blah. Mommy's little boy. His name is flipping Chris, okay? I know his birth name was Christopher. I get that. But when a man is a man, you usually cut off the little cutesy terms for them. I don't see very many grown men wanting to be called those types of names or wanting their mommy to jump in there and defend their every move. Generally, men act like men, in my opinion. Okay. Y'all can comment however you want on that one.
Everything is there. But there's no kids and there's no Shanann. And I was not worried. You know, I thought she has just gone off and I'm going to punish you for this and you can worry about me. But when Christopher called us and he said, I said, do you want us to come down now? He said, tell Dad I need him. Tell Dad I need him to come down. I said, what about me? He said, no, Mom, just stay. Just send Dad.
Uh-huh. Interesting, huh? Why did he not want his mom there? I find that very interesting. Can somebody explain that one to me? And if you have info on that, I would love to hear it. Usually people being controlled and lived through by their narcissistic parents don't want them around in their adult lives, from my experience. The one that he wanted was the one that probably took a back seat to the controlling spouse, the controlling mother. That's who he wanted. The one that pretty much stayed out of stuff and let Chris, you know, make his decisions and whatever, that didn't know how to handle his controlling, micromanaging wife. Again, my opinion, my speculation, do with it as you want.
And he picked him up at the airport and they drove to the police station. And Chris still didn't say anything to him. Nothing. He had already been interrogated 7 hours prior to that. He had already let the police go into his home, search everything. He was going in for another interrogation. The next thing, after 5 hours, they called Ronnie and said that your son wants to talk to you before he tells us anything. And that's when Christopher broke down and cried and said,
If you call that crying.
He said, I went into a rage and I killed her.
Fake crying.
After she killed Cece and Bella. And he found out where he is and then they wouldn't let him see him. He couldn't see him. And so he was going back to the airport when his public defender called him and told him to come back. So, and that's when Ronnie met his public defender. And so, talked to her for a while. And they kept in touch with us and let us know what's going on.
And then what was the next update that you got? Was it?
The next update I got was Ronnie called Jamie and told them they found their bodies. And they rushed over here. Nobody told me anything until they walked through the door. And they told me what happened, and I just fell to the floor. I just fell to the floor. It was unbelievable. And it's been unbelievable ever since. And
What did his attorney?
Okay, wait a minute. I don't know if y'all saw this, but when she said, when she fell to the floor, I just fell to the floor. Did you see the smirk on her face? Did you see the slightly raised, pursed eyebrows? I did. I noticed that. Hold on a second. I need to set my kitty down here because she's wanting to be in my arms, but it's not working too well trying to film and hold the kitty. So I need to readjust some things here. Give me just a second. It's all right, Michi. It's all right, Meech. Oh, let's see here. Alright, guys. I know there's a lot of shuffling around. My bad. We're getting situated here. Alright. I think we're good. Alright, back we go. Alright, let's continue onward.
Just tell you about contact with him, starting with his arrest.
No contact. Everything is recorded. No contact. No letter writing. I didn't see the harm in the letters. Hi, son. Love you. Keep fighting. We are here to support you. What is wrong with that? What can the DA do about letters like this? Why couldn't we just write him a letter? We did what we were told to do. When they called us to tell us that Chris was thinking of a plea, that he wanted to speak to us about it. And when we got down there, it was a lie. They wouldn't let us talk to him about anything. And then we had to talk to him through a screen and a phone. And he just looked, he was crying. I mean, he wasn't crying. You could see the movement in his mouth that when I talked about Bella and I talked about Cece and the memorial service that we had for them. And he asked what pictures did we use, and what was the song. You can see how he was trying to hold back tears.
What day was that? Do you remember?
Well, we flew in on that Monday. We flew in on Monday, and we saw him Monday night, and then the plea deal was on Tuesday.
So Monday night was when you wanted to talk to him about it?
Yes, and we weren't allowed. And it would have helped us so much to be able to talk to him. I wouldn't have to go through all this now.
Oh, she's so good at playing the victim. Have you guys seen that and heard that in her words? She starts out by saying how, it affected him, how he went through this or whatever. Nothing mentioned about the children, Shanann, nothing positive about, oh my God, I'm just devastated. I didn't get along with her, but how horrid that this happened to them. How horrid that my son murdered them. I would have never thought he was capable of that. That's what a normal, neurotypically balanced person would have said. Not all this gibberish that she's going on about. Trust me. Not at all.
Everything just seems to be shrouded in secrecy. And just tell us what is going on.
You're a liar. That's what's going on.
Ask Chris if it's okay if you talk to us. I just don't like the way it was handled.
Okay, first of all, ask Chris. Chris had way too much control over the whole thing to begin with, in my opinion. They're asking him if it's okay if we release the evidence and release the autopsies. What the heck baloney was that? You arrested him, he admits to killing people, and now he gets a choice in whether to release the autopsies? I didn't understand that. I didn't agree with it at all, and it made no sense to me. Never heard of such a ludicrous thing. The whole case has been totally insane from the get-go.
Like the way it was handled. I want to save your life. That's all. We're just here. We're going to save his life. We want him to get life in prison. It was like they already knew he was guilty. And this was the end of it.
Were you worried about the death penalty being a possibility?
No. I didn't care about the death penalty. Nobody's going to die in Colorado. I don't think anyone has. One person? Colorado is changing. So people stay on death row forever. There was I think you'd be safer on death row. And our parents said they didn't want any more death.
This woman smiles through almost this whole morbid interview. Look at right there. I just freeze framed it. She's got the biggest stupid grin on her face. She reminds me of, was it Andrea Yates or Susan Smith? I can't remember, where they're talking about Duper's Delight. She got the Duper's Delight thing down pat through her whole interview. I don't care if you're pro Cindy Watts or not. I'm not pro her. Not even an inkling of my anything is pro her. She is a liar. She's deceptive. She raised a little spoiled prince, and she doesn't care that he might go to death row? What? Probably too many narcissists in the pack there. Narcissists don't like other narcissists to be, getting too much attention. She keeps bringing everything back to, we were treated badly. We didn't know what was going on. We this, we that. Playing the martyr and the victim. Narcissists do that.
So, I don't see how the death penalty could have mattered.
Smiling again.
All I want is the truth. I just want the truth.
Start by telling it.
That's it. And I know Chris, he would take responsibility.
This woman makes my
and I
blood
guess,
boil.
Maybe he is. I don't know. I don't know. I just can't see him doing that.
What do you think the truth is about how Shanann and Bella and Celeste died?
Oh, God, I don't know anymore. Honestly. I don't know his frame of mind, and I don't know his frame of mind. Because why would you plead guilty to something you didn't do? And that's all I want to know. Why would you plead guilty if you didn't do it? If you told your dad you didn't do it? And that's what I want to know. And they said, well, you'll find all that out. Christopher will talk to you when and after he's sentenced. Well, isn't that too late then? And isn't it too late? What if he tells me, no, I didn't do it? I just took this plea deal because they told me I was going to go to jail anyways. I just want the truth. All of us just want the truth. That's all. But I would like to know what triggered it. How can a normal young man, and he's normal. He was normal, but he wasn't evaluated when he came into the system. He wasn't normal if he did this.
So, does anybody know? Has he been evaluated, and when the heck are we going to get those results? That's what I've been waiting on for, what, months now?
It's bewildering.
It's bewildering to me. It is. It is absolutely. How does this happen? How did this happen? And I go back in my mind thinking, was there something I didn't pick up with on Chris? But I can't think of anything except he was quiet.
It sounds like in your own mind, you're unsure as to what happened.
Yes.
Have you reconciled?
Good she flipped her glasses back up over her nose. Her nose is probably sweating by now with all the BS she's sweating out.
The idea that he could have done all of this?
Yes. And that scares me to death. It scares me to death to think that he could have done all of this. And I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there right now. But I don't see why he's pleading guilty. I wouldn't. I'd fight. I'd fight to the end. But then you ask yourself, would a normal person dispose of the bodies the way you did? And I would have called 911 if it happened like that.
What would you say to Chris right now if he were sitting here?
If we were by ourselves?
Yeah.
I would say, Christopher, I need to know what happened that night. I need to know what happened. I've got to get these thoughts out of my head. What I think could have happened, but I need to know. And I think in time he will tell me.
Probably nothing you ever would have imagined you would have faced.
Never. Never. No, and not from the son that I raised and Ronnie raised and our children,
tears.
We just did everything for them. We worked for them.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted them to have a good life, good education. And we stressed education. And they were both doing well.
So funny.
I thought, I knew marriages can be bad, but you can get out of them and go on. But I don't know what was going through anybody's mind that night.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel too much. I definitely feel everything way too much. And
She feels too much. Poor lady. Everybody feels sorry for the poor martyr. She feels too much. What the H do you think those little girls and Shanann felt, lady? I bet they felt a whole heck of a lot more than you felt. Oh, this lady, I'm telling you, I don't think anyone, as I said, Frank Rusek is the one I believe the most as far as explaining what Shanann was like and stuff. This lady is the one I believe the least of anybody.
A conscience that I just feel way too much.
What do you want to happen
Yes,
now?
I was
what would
scoffing.
you hope would happen now?
Let's fakely blow our nose now, too.
I want Chris to have his day in court. I mean, I need to know. I mean, I'd feel wonderful if I could talk to him and he could tell me what happened.
God.
And then we could all go on. But if he didn't do it, if he did not do this, then I need somebody to defend him. I need someone to defend him if he did not do this. Do they have the evidence? He's my son. I got to do everything I've got to do everything I can to help, to make sure that he is defended properly.
Mm-hmm.
But he said this is his decision, so I don't know. There's doubt. I have doubt that he did it. I can't see that he did it. I just cannot see him doing that as much as he loved his girls. How do you do that? I just don't see it. I just can't see him doing it. I just wanted to make sure that he has, I just wanted a defense. I wanted him to be defended.
And you haven't had any discussions with his attorneys about this?
No. I asked them, do you know what happened? They said, no. We don't. Only person that knows what happened is Chris. Well, then he's told you his story, you know, in the affidavit. They said they would defend him if he wanted to go forward, but he said he didn't want to go forward.
And the bottom line is you would have liked to have been part of that discussion with him before you made that decision.
That's what I thought we were going down there for. At least let us talk to him. Let us talk to him. It would have made all the difference in the world.
I'm sure it would have. Because she could have planted some more narcissistic ideas in his head. About, well, you know, if you do this, then they'll do that. And just manipulate him a little bit more. Because she's the puppet master, obviously, here. Honestly, I can tell you, and people are going to say, well, you don't know the woman's heart. You don't know that she really wasn't devastated. No, I don't know that, but I can tell from body language. I can hear it in her voice. I can see the way she's handling all this. She's not grieving anything. She wasn't that close to that family. No way. If those were my granddaughters, I don't care if they were my son's daughters, which I don't have a son. If anything happened to my grandchildren, oh my God, I would be sobbing through the whole interview. I would not be smirking. I would not be kind of almost laughing when I talk about these morbid deaths. I would not be all worried about, well, I need to know, or this has bothered me. I feel too much. I just feel way too much. She's making it all about her. It's not about her at all.
If they would have just let us talk to him. If he was going to do this, what difference does it make who's listening? But he has our love. He has our unconditional love. I will never abandon my son.
Smirk.
He did a horrible, if that comes to pass, that he did this, then I still love him. He's my son.
I'm not saying you shouldn't love your son.
A lot of people don't understand that, and I don't understand that, why they don't.
Well, could you talk a little bit about some things we talked about yesterday? You said, I think your exact words were, he's not the psychopath next door.
He isn't. He's not the sociopath next door. He's not the psychopath. He didn't kill little small animals. He didn't do any of these things. He was a good child. I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything that was abnormal about him, except he was socially awkward. You know, he had trouble socializing, but so did I when I was younger. I think you learn that as you grow, and I think he felt a little bit more comfortable in his skin, and he just, I don't think he just had the right person at his side.
Mommy dearest.
I don't. That relationship was toxic from the very beginning.
What would you say to Shanann's family if you could talk to them?
By the way, she said, I don't think he had the right person at his side. Right, because nobody's good enough for her little Christopher.
God, I'm so sorry this happened. You know, for both our families, because we both lost everything. You know,
Why are you
we
shaking
lost
your
our
head?
daughter, we
No.
lost our son. We lost our grandchildren. We all lost. Everybody did. And you'll never get it back. And they were precious. They were so, so precious.
Closing her eyes while she says they were so, so precious.
You can't
And rolling her eyes kind of at the end. Did you guys see that too? Hold on a second, because there's an ad coming on or something here. I got to get past the ad to get to the rest of it. But yeah, she was rolling her eyes. When she said they were so, so precious, she closed her eyes like she's trying to block out the memory. It's just, it's so telling. These people are so telling in what they say and stuff, you know. Okay, I think that was the end of it anyways. So, alright. Let me turn this around so you don't have to stare at the screen with nothing on it. So my final thoughts in the matter is I don't trust Cindy Watts any further than I can throw her. Don't trust her son. I think she's a liar. I think she was deceptive through most of the interview. I think she told a few truths in there, but usually people that are lying do throw some truth in with it. It's kind of like people once said, you know, if you want to poison a dog, which I would never do that, you put the poison in meat, give them a bunch of good, and then the poison's inside of it. I think that's what Cindy Watts is all about. Making herself look like she's the caring, doting grandmother. And, oh, those kids were so precious. They're so precious you can't even bear to look at the image of them in your mind. I'm sorry, I don't buy her baloney, BS, whatever you want to call it. I do not buy it. She's selling a lot, but I ain't buying any of it. So, that's my final word on Cindy Watts and what I think of her. I didn't like her on day one when I saw her. I didn't believe anything she said, and I pegged her as the narcissist I sincerely believe she is. So, your comments are welcome. Be nice. You know, try to be gentle. I do have feelings, but at this point, like I said, I've been watching that other channel that has nothing to do with any of this. It has to do with kids and adults with challenges and diagnoses and conditions and how they overcome their challenges. And so people's negative comments really don't faze me that much anymore, because I realize that life is precious and I'm thankful I have a healthy life, and I just go on that. So say what you will. If you're too negative, I'll have to report you or delete you. But if you can just have a constructive disagreement with me, that's fine. We can do that. Let's see if you can. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.